The sun burned high and merciless over the empty roadside as the little boy stood shaking at the edge of the gas station parking lot, dust clinging to his torn shoes and a small trembling puppy wrapped in his arms, and in that desperate moment when hunger had stolen every ounce of pride from his tiny body, he lifted his eyes toward a roaring line of motorcycles and made a choice that would forever change his life. He had not eaten in 3 days, and neither had the puppy. The world had shrunk to survival, and kindness felt like a myth told by people with full stomachs. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet power of compassion to change lives, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing stories like this to you. The boy's name was Zion, and he was only 10 years old, though hunger had carved lines into his face that made him seem far older. Since the factory on the edge of town had closed, his father had disappeared into a storm of debt and despair, and his mother had fallen ill with a fever that never seemed to return her strength. What little money they once had was gone, their rented room was taken back by the landlord, and Zion had learned to carry his world inside a plastic school bag with broken strings. The puppy had followed him one night through an alley behind a bakery, a scrawny ball of white fur with ribs showing and eyes full of trust. Zion had named him Noor, because even in darkness, light could be found. For 3 days they had wandered from shaded corners to abandoned doorways, surviving on warm tap water in the hope that someone might care. By the 4th day, Zion's legs trembled so badly he fell twice just trying to cross the dusty road. When he reached the gas station, the scent of fried food from the small roadside cafe curled mercilessly through the air, turning his hunger into pain. That was when the bikers arrived like thunder, engines shaking the ground, black helmets shining in the sun, leather jackets marked with patches of skulls, fire, and wings. To Zion, they looked like creatures from another world, loud and powerful and untouchable, the exact opposite of everything he felt inside. Tiny hands tightening around the warm, fragile body of the puppy, Zion stepped forward. Fear crashed through him in waves, but hunger pushed harder. He did not beg for money. He did not ask for food. He did something that hurt more than hunger itself. He raised the puppy slightly in his arms, offering the only thing he loved in the world, thinking it might be enough to earn a few coins or a piece of bread. His lips trembled as he tried to explain between shallow breaths that they had not eaten for 3 days and that the puppy deserved better than a boy who could not even find food. The parking lot went quiet in a way that felt heavier than the noise had ever been. One by one, the bikers cut their engines. Riders stepped down from their machines, boots hitting the concrete slowly, faces hidden behind dark visors and weathered beards. Zion's heart felt like it might burst from his chest as he stood there, terrified that they would laugh, mock him, or simply turn away. He stared at the ground, bracing himself for rejection because rejection was something he understood all too well. What happened next shattered every expectation he had ever formed about the world. One of the riders, a tall man with silver braided into his beard and a scar running from his temple to his jaw, slowly removed his helmet. His eyes softened in a way Zion had not seen in a long time. Another biker knelt down to Zion's level, her leather gloves worn and cracked, and gently looked at the puppy with a quiet smile that carried no judgment. Without a single harsh word, without laughter or cruelty, the group moved with purpose, not like strangers but like a family responding to an unspoken emergency. Within minutes, the cafe tables were crowded with food. Plates of rice, flatbread, grilled chicken, fruit, and bowls of steaming soup filled every empty space. Clean water appeared. Someone draped a light jacket around Zion's shoulders when they noticed how thin he was. The puppy received a small dish of warm food and water, and as Noor ate with silent urgency, a ripple of emotion passed through the bikers that none of them tried to hide. Zion ate slowly at first, afraid it might vanish if he moved too fast. Then hunger took over, and tears slid down his cheeks as he realized this was real. For the first time in days, his stomach felt full, and for the first time in what felt like forever, he felt safe. But the bikers did not stop at food. While Zion ate, they listened. They listened to where he had come from, to his mother's illness, to the factory that had closed, to the way nights felt longer when fear sat beside him in the dark. No one interrupted. No one rushed him. And when he finally ran out of words, the man with the silver in his beard stood and made a few quiet phone calls. The engines that once sounded like chaos now felt like a promise waiting to be fulfilled. By late afternoon, the sun still high and casting long shadows across the road, the bikers took Zion and the puppy with them. They rode carefully, one bike at a time, shielding him from the wind, past isolated roadside shops and into the heart of the city. They brought him to a small medical clinic where a doctor examined both Zion and his mother, who had been found collapsed near the abandoned room they once called home. Medicines were paid for without hesitation. A warm bed was arranged for that night. Clean clothes appeared as if by magic. For the first time since the world had broken apart, Zion watched adults move with certainty around him, fixing things one piece at a time. What Zion did not understand that day was that these bikers were not simply riders of steel and noise. They were part of a charity group that traveled from town to town delivering supplies to flood victims, planting food drives in forgotten villages, and helping children who had slipped through the cracks of society. Their rough exteriors hid hearts that had known loss, regret, and the deep desire to become better than who they once were. Seeing Zion offer the only thing he loved had pierced through their armor like nothing else ever had. Weeks passed, then months. Zion's mother recovered slowly, her strength returning as medicine and proper meals replaced desperation. A small room was secured for them near the clinic. Zion returned to school with donated books, a clean uniform, and a heart full of renewed courage. The puppy grew healthier, fluffier, stronger, his once dull eyes now bright with life. And on certain weekends, the distant roar of motorcycles would echo through the streets, and Zion would run outside with Noor in his arms, smiling before he even saw them. The day that changed everything forever never truly ended. Its echo continued in every meal Zion now ate without fear, in every lesson he learned at school, in every laugh that replaced the hollow ache of hunger. He began helping other children near the roadside cafe, sharing food, guiding lost kids back to their families, repeating the kindness that had once saved him. And each time he did, he felt stronger, not because he had power, but because he had hope. As this story draws near its end, if this moment of humanity and transformation stirred something in your heart, please take a second before the final lines and comment the word kindness below to show that compassion still matters in this world. Years later, as Zion grew taller and surer of his steps, he would often look back at the gas station where everything began. The sun still set the same way. The road still stretched endlessly into the horizon. But he knew now that sometimes the smallest, most desperate act can awaken the greatest change in others. The puppy he once offered in surrender now walked proudly beside him as a symbol of survival. The bikers who once seemed like strangers from another universe became a living reminder that heroes do not always wear clean suits or stand on bright stages. Sometimes they arrive with roaring engines, worn leather, and hearts big enough to hold a broken child and rebuild a future. If this story touched your heart, moved you, or reminded you that kindness can appear when we least expect it, please engage with this video by liking, sharing, and leaving your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps these stories reach others who may need hope just as desperately as Zion once did.